Hello, Vera here, Psychic Craftswoman. How are you? I'm good. I'm sitting here in my dressing gown. Well, I've just got up and I just thought I'd have a chat really. Lots of things been happening here lately and I just needed to chat. I'm knitting a jumper at the minute and it's a lovely red colour. Look, it's Stylecraft acrylic. I mean, I like acrylic because it's softer than the wool mixes. Anyway, how are you? We all get tired, don't we? And we don't know what to do with ourselves and we get fed up and, you know, just, oh, shove it, you know. Life doesn't seem worth bothering with. I'm not saying that you want to make yourself pass over, you know, like, I don't say that, you know, it's not that deep a fed upness, and I wouldn't call it a depression either. It's just fed up. And often these fed upnesses come after something which has been big. You know, at the weekend, well, end of last week, we had a huge storm come through. It was really, really severe. Not many trees came down though, which was fortunate, but it was still high winds, very, very high winds, and I don't like high winds, neither does my partner. We'd had an experience with very high winds when we first came here, when we were living in a caravan, and caravan and high winds don't work. You get buffeted about, and we could, the funny thing was, we could hear the wind coming in the distance, and when you're outside, you can, it's like when the wind starts blowing very, very strongly, it's as if an army is coming to war, because you can hear it coming through the trees and then it hits you. It's not very nice. And in the caravan, all our electrics got cut off, and well, we didn't have many electrics in the first place, just an electric cable to the power box, but it wasn't good. And memories of that stay in your mind, and when you're in the house you don't tend to hear that train of wind hit you. You just hear the gusts blowing past the windows and rattling and shaking anything that wants to be rattled and shaken. Anyway, we'd had a day or two of that, which had an unsettling effect on us. And then, and in amongst the wind there was huge rain. Now, I didn't think the rain had been very severe, but it had been. My partner had been out in the rain and he said it was like a bucket of water being chucked down, but I stay dry. I'm a girl and girls like to stay dry. Anyway, so what happened was, well, we live beside a river and we're on a floodplain, but and the river does fill up enough to for the water to come over its banks, and we're all right with that. The house is built on a rise, so the water has only ever come to the side of the house, and then only half an inch, because the land slopes down quite well, not steeply, but there is a good slope on the land towards the river. Well, that river came up fast. There was huge floods on that river, and the river came up fast on Saturday, And because after the couple of days of buffeting about with that wind and half expecting the roof to come off, because that's our experience with what happened in that big storm I just spoke about before when we was in the caravan. I mean, the house was old and just about falling down anyway, and the roof was half off anyway, and we knew that when we came here and we were going to be renovating, but that wind had come and fallen everything that was going to fall down eventually, which was all of the roof, well, half of the roof really. Well, it was all derelict anyway, we just ended up with 4 walls, but it was just scary. So when this wind blew, it kind of, do you know, when you have an experience which is, oh, but you come through it, it tends to seat in your mind, that memory of that episode which, made you, oh dear, was a bit heavy for you. You remember it, you think you've forgotten it, but certain things will happen which will trigger that memory off. So you have to be careful that you don't allow that memory to become bigger than what it could be. What I mean is that you can't start we couldn't start freaking out every time there was a high wind blew through here. We're near the Pyrenees, and we do get big winds, and it's all right. I love the area, and I'm not going to start on about how high the winds can be, etc., etc., because it is as it is. There are so many other benefits of living here, but it's the trigger. So I've had to work hard with the triggers, particularly with the wind. After that big wind, that was in January 2009, when we had winds after that, which you did periodically, I had to work hard with saying to myself, it'll be all right, it will be all right, it was all right last time, we came through it all right, we'll come through it this time, we're getting the house done, we're inside. Over the years, this is what I've worked on. So the wind actually is, hasn't bothered me, it hasn't triggered that first memory of it being a not very nice experience to come through. Oh dear, it was a bit much. Anyway, if I'd have gone the other way, every time a wind blew, my mind would have said, oh, wind, oh, wind, every time, and that would have increased, built on that memory, and I would have ended up phobic about the wind. That's how you get phobias. You have a scare, like a spider, and you're, oh, I don't like a spider, especially if it's sort of running over near to you and it's a big spider. You think, oh, creepy crawly. And then next time you see a spider, you remember that memory, go, oh, and it builds on that memory. And then again and again and again. So as an adult, you freak out at the tiniest little spider going, tiniest little thing. So the other way, the reverse of that, is to say to yourself, oh, I didn't like that spider. Oh, da, 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 da. And then next time you see a spider, say, oh, that's a spider and it's all right, it's little work on it, and quash that, oh. And then the next time, because when you're an adult, I remember a friend of mine, she was, I was just doing about 40. She was adult, freaking out about a spider in the bathtub. Oh, she really went up. I thought, well, you are an adult. It's only a spider. It's not like it's walking on you. If it was walking on you, then you think, oh, I don't like that. But you have to work on yourself. You have to quite, because you don't. It's not useful to be phobic. Anyway, I've made myself non-phobic about the wind, so I've done all that over the years. But that one on Friday, that was we didn't go panicky about it, but they were big gusts. It was a big storm that went through, and it went for so long as well. It went for 24 hours, over 24 hours. So it went on and on and on, and it was so unsettling. and we did remember that one in January 2009. We did remember it, but we didn't panic. We didn't go, oh, this is terrible, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? You know, we didn't do that. We just didn't like it, but kept busy. Anyway, the next day, another thing we could get phobic about is the river. It does flood. We are by a river. The universe brought us here. I'll tell you about it one day, the way it happened. And we were meant to be here. It's a long story, so I won't bother you with it now, but definitely meant to be here. And you know, it's our choice to follow the universe, the way the universe guided us. I mean, it was our choice to come. We forget that, because you've got to find somebody to blame sometimes, haven't you? I mean, it's always got to be someone or something to take the blame. Anyway, oh dear, I've got a bit of a tangle. Oh dear, human beings are so funny in their way, so full of foibles. We think we're perfect, but we're flipping well not. We're like children. You know, even as adults we're like children. We behave very childishly sometimes. Anyway, I do as well. I mean, I'm not preaching to anybody, you know, this is only things I notice about myself and about others. I've dropped a flipping stitch now. Where have you gone? Come here, you. Not going to let yourself wander off into the middle of the knitting to then be found when I've sewn it up and I've got a flipping stitch on the loose. And I can't do anything about it because the jumpers is supposed to be finished. The river. Well, the river does flood, and it is eating away. No, that's not wrong. One must be positive. Mustn't be naughty about the river. It is as it is. It's nature. It gets she's there. The river's there for a purpose, and that's to get the water away from the land, so we can live on it. And it is a working river. It's not a pretty trickly stream. It is a river. Well, mind you, even streams will flood and you know, cause mischief sometimes. Hang on a minute, I can't see what I'm doing. Right. Yeah, the river. Well, Saturday morning, all of a sudden it was there out on our side fields. Well, that's the house wall behind me, and the wall I've got the computer against, that is the wall that the river comes up against. As I say, most times it doesn't reach the wall of the house, but it came up so strongly and so deeply this time, to the height of our nearly 2 metre fences. We have sheep, and the fields are fenced, and the water came over that. Part of it was like where the top of the wire was causing a slight barrier to the river. It had a little waterfall. Quite pretty, really, except that it was brown mud. It wasn't your pretty trickly stream effect. Oh, you know, nice little waterfalls here and there. Anyway, it came up, and that on top of the wind. We worked hard to stay calm with the wind, and you know, this was my partner. He freaked, didn't freak out, but you know, he could see that his fences were going to be damaged again, and there's a lot of fencing that will need to be sorted out, replaced, and repaired, and there's not the time, bless him, because he's working full time on the computer from home, and you know, it excuse me, I mean, we're living on a farm in southwest France, so for him to work full time and plus do the farm, it's very, very hard. Well, the farm doesn't get done, and then you see the farm going not looked after, and that's painful. But anyway, the river, well, it came up. So what do? Well, every 5 minutes you keep going out to the river to see how far it's risen, and you put a little stone by the edge of the river and then go out 5 or 10 minutes later and it's gone over the stone, so it's obviously still rising. Then you look on the weather forecast on the internet, the French weather forecast, and it gives you inundations, the flooding zones, and we're in the flooding zone, and it gives you the heights of the river, and then you see on the graph your river, the River Adore, going up like that, and you think, oh crikey, and you think, oh, it'll be all right, it's been all right before, and you work on it hard and you stay calm, because to be freaking out is not going to do any good, because first of all, you'll tire yourself out. Secondly, there's no point, because you can't change the river. You can't say to the river, stop, go away, we don't want you here today. You can't do that either. Nothing you can do. And you can't afford to freak out. You can't afford, because if you do, it's going to go into memory. This is how you responded when you saw that river coming towards the house. Well, it didn't quite, because it's flowing sideways. It wasn't actually coming, I guess, as if to eat us. It was going sideways, but it was just coming sideways, up and up and up and up. So you have to be careful that you don't go freaky. You have to stay calm, because it's not in your best interest to freak out when you get massive things like this, because in the future, every time you have a trigger, then you're going to add to that freaking out panic, and that is going to make you phobic. We could have got phobic with the river, and I've been all right by the river. I do tend to ignore it, I must admit. We have a bridge on our land, on the side of our land, and I like to go over the river bridge and look at the river, but I don't tend not to go down to the bottom of the land, because the river is chewing away quite a portion of our land down on the bottom field, and that tends to upset me a little bit. I get cross and think, oh, this isn't fair. I've had to work on that, because that is not an actual phobia really, but it's the start of a little bit of a phobia, that the river is not a very good thing and all the rest of it. That my thoughts, if your thoughts don't like something, then you can keep building on that, not like, and then you've got like a kind of phobia effect with yourself. Not really a phobia, but it's a portion in yourself of, I don't like that, and it keeps building, I don't like that, I don't like that. Every time you think about it, I don't like that, it keeps rising and rising and rising, until it's a big hate in you. What's the point? What is the point? All it does is stop your calmness and you feeling good. It's no point. So you have to work on it. It's not going to come easy. You have to work on it. So the river field. Oh dear. The battery just cut off from the camera, so I've had to just replace it. Sorry about the slight hiccup. Anyway, I was saying at the beginning of the video that I was feeling a little bit tired, and do you know, when you've made a big effort with something unexpected or something expected, something planned, doesn't matter, whatever it is, you have this big rush of energy, and then you carry through, and yay, I'm up and here, and I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And then a couple of days later you seem to go down a bit of a hole when you can't do it. And I think that's a reaction to the effort you make. I'm not very good with it when I get like that. I tend to think, oh, what's the matter with me? I can't keep going, which is silly really, because we all need to have catch-up times. So thank you for listening to my chat, because I've cheered myself up. Now, I always do when I chat with you. Yeah, I think, oh, you know, this is what I need to do. So I don't know whether I'm of help to you. Give you little snippets of help as along the way, along the pathway of your life. But I just feel more cheered up. So thank you for listening. If you've got this far, that is. If you haven't, then you wouldn't know I'm saying thank you for listening to me. Anyway, God bless. Take care of yourself, and whatever is in your life, I hope that it's copable with. You know, one of the things that the universe constantly says, well, it doesn't constantly say, but does remind me from time to time, that we do ask to come here and experience all these things in our life. It's supposed to be life lessons being learnt. Well, that's for another day. I'll talk about that another day. But it does sometimes help to say, well, I asked for this before I came into the earth. You think to yourself, what was I thinking about? What was I thinking about when I was wherever we are before we come here as human beings? What did I think? Why did I do this? Well, you know, I just think it's funny sometimes. If you laugh at things that happen, it does keep you lifted up and stops you from becoming too angry and phobic and everything like that. Anyway, bye for now. As I say, take care of yourself, and love and hugs. Bye.